Hi guys, good morning. It's 9:52 a.m. Here in the US. I hope that you're doing fine. I'm also doing very, very, very well. And I want to do a video about the DS260. I know like I've postponed it like this many times, but I'm gonna do a series of videos so that you guys can be good, especially for those people who have won the DV lottery. Now, my name is Charity Ganga. This is Charity's Bubble USA, your number one channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. Remember, we are on the road to 20,000, guys. Share my videos. Watch them with your friends, with your family members. You know, someone reached out to me and they told me that I do my videos, but she feels like there's still some people who do not understand the DV lottery. I've also heard from another person who told me that most people do not know about it. Now, the only way that you can help is to share my videos, talk about the DV lottery. And that's why I do like, if I find someone who is winning, I do like to come and interview them so that you can see that this thing is real. And of course, myself, I came to the US through a DV lottery. And I like to share what I've been doing in my life here in the US just to encourage you. And I know that at the moment you win the DV lottery, your life changes, guys. It does change. And that is why I like to share about this information. Now, before I go to the DS260, because that one is specifically for the people who have won the DV lottery, we will have another DV lottery towards the end of this year. It's going to start in October and then early in November. And I need you guys to be ready. Remember, the only thing that you need is to know the date. And I'm going to keep on telling you the date when that is near. And this time, remember, you do not need a passport. Remember that you don't need anybody to do it for you. You can go online if you have a smartphone and do it. You can go to someone who has an access to a computer as long as there is internet. You can fill out your DV lottery application. The other thing that I want to talk about is the photo. And I am going to do a series of videos. Like I said, I'm also going to do a video about the photo because that one is important, guys. I need you to get it right this time and do it early so that by the time the DV lottery is starting, you're good. You're not struggling. You know, when the process is going on, you don't know where to go or whatever. Now, I'm going to do that one. But right now, I want to do the DS260. Now, if you want the DB lottery, of course, when you read, when you enter your confirmation number and you see that you have been randomly selected, of course, they're going to tell you the next steps that you're supposed to follow. And so that you can successfully finish your application, because winning is just the first part. It takes a long time. Another thing that I want to say is that it doesn't happen just like that. No, it takes a process. I do remember that when we got ours, we found out that we had won in January. And then ours was so fast, like very, very fast, because I saw the 2NL. We had already filled out our DS260 initially, but I wasn't like very keen on the email. But then when I saw mine, I do remember that it was very fast, because after winning the DV lottery in May, we went for our interview in March. No, in April, actually. So when you look at that, it's closer to 1 year, 11 months to 1 year. So when you fill out your DS260, do not expect that you're going to get your 2NL like immediately. Of course, it depends on your case number. The lower your case number, the faster you can get for interview to be scheduled or to be ready. And remember, they schedule those interviews when they have a visa ready. So it's very, very important to be very, very, very patient, because I always the people who won the DV lottery last year, is it last year? Now this year, last year is done. Now we are last year, but one is done, because right now they're processing the DV 2023. Now you find that some of them are very impatient. They're like, when is it gonna come? Now I normally don't know, and most people do not know, because even when you go to the website, it normally says that they will notify you through your email. So the only thing that you need to do is just keep on checking your email every day, because that email is gonna come. If you did your DS260 very well and you submitted it, remember you have to submit it online. and you put out the information about everything, and I'm going to talk about the DS260 here in a little bit, you find that you will be able to see your email when it comes. And when it comes, make sure that you're ready. Because like I said, it is not free, guys. It's not free. You will spend money to do it. I did see another comment whereby a person was saying that you don't leave your kids if you want to. And I understand that, guys. And I know it's very, very easy for you to come in as a parent, maybe leave one parent behind. Or if you're single, you can leave your child with your parent and then you come here, you work. You know, if you have followed Anne's story, she came in December and in January she was working. And right now she's doing very well. Actually, she's almost to move out. She's gonna move out next week, and we are gonna do a video about that just to see her journey. So you find that if you are able to work, so let's assume like maybe she had left her daughter at home, she would have been able to go back home to her daughter in like 2 or 3 months. So you can still do that. It's okay, guys. It's okay as long as you're leaving your kids in safe hands, because it's very, very important for you to leave your kids in safe hands. So what I'm gonna do here is I know that when you win your DV lottery, they give you the links. You have these links in your notification. So you just need to type that link and set it there. But I want to go through the DS260 because it's important for me to do that for someone who really needs help with that. Now, I just typed here on my computer DS260. That's the only thing that I'm going to type. And then I'm going to see where it's going to take me. DS260. So there. And then I am going to share my... I'm going to share my screen here for you guys to see. So I did a DS260. I just did a Google search. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me go back here and try to make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you. So when you look at this, when I just typed DS260 here, it says DS260 immigrant visa electronic application. So if I click on this link, it's going to take me to this website. And it's very, very important for you guys to go to the right website, because some people go to the wrong one. Look at these colors. There's blue, there's red, and it has travel.state.gov. This is the right website, guys. Don't go to a website that is telling you that someone is gonna prepare the whatever for you and everything. This information is like when you read very well, and if you follow with this video, you will be able to fill out your DS260 by yourself. So if I click here, so I just typed DS260 there, and it says DS260 migrant visa electronic application, frequently asked questions. So let's just do the questions because there are not many, and then we are gonna go and do the DS260 now. What do I need to complete? What do I need? You need internet. You need a case number. Of course, you'll have a case number when you have been selected. So refer to the message you received from the NVC. You have your invoice ID number. You refer to the message that you received, because you have all this information you have won when you have won your DV lottery. Now, the diversity visa applicants must have internet access, your diversity visa case number, and in brackets here, it tells you refer to your selection notification on this website. If you click on that website, it's gonna give you more information on that. And I'm making it a little bit bigger. Now, the other question is asking, where can I find the DS260? You can access the DS260 from the Consular Electronic Application Center here website. So the CAC website, by going to the immigrantvisas.state.gov and clicking on Submit Visa Application and Civil Documents, or on the website of the U.S. Embassy or Consulate where you will apply. You may wish to preview, and this is what we are going to go through, the preview, the sample. We are going to do the sample before you guys begin, because I believe by the time we do this one, you will be able to do it by yourself. Now, there is another question here that says, can I answer in my native language? No, you cannot answer your native language. All answers, except as specially provided, must be in English and using English characters only. Applicants submitted in any language other than English may be rejected. you will be required to log back onto the CEAC and provide English answers. So remember, you have to do it in English. And then there's another question here. Are all fields in the DS260 mandatory? Most fields on the DS260 are mandatory, most of them. You may leave fields marked, you may leave fields marked optional. The ones that are optional, they are blank. Some fields may also give you the option to select does not apply. If a field does not apply to you, you may mark the box next to it does not apply. All other fields must be completed. The application will not allow you to submit a form with any mandatory fields left blank. In this instance, an error message will be displayed and you will be required to complete the field before continuing with the application. And then if you do not answer the questions that apply, your form may be rejected. So I am reading this for you guys so that you can take this thing very, very seriously. You have to do this, guys. You have to do it. And this is not my information. I am getting this information from travel.state.gov. So this is not my information, guys. So you can go there, Google the website if you have won your DV lottery and read this because it is there, okay? Now, what happens if I need to step away in the middle of a data entry? So let's assume your internet was lost, or maybe you stepped away, you went maybe somewhere to the bathroom, or maybe you were called somewhere, you went to work. You save your partially completed DS260 at any time by clicking on the save button. So you are able to save that at the bottom of every page. If you need to step away, simply click on the save button and save your progress. And then click on sign out. So you sign out in the upper right hand corner of the screen. All data that you have entered up in the point of clicking on save will be stored until you are ready to continue. Now, to ensure your privacy, because this is information that you're giving your passport number, you're giving your case number and everything. And the case number is very, very important. You should keep it to yourself. You should not share it with anybody, because I've heard stories of people who have gone, they know your case number, they have sent letters to the embassy, and some people just are bad and they just don't want other people to progress. And so you have to make sure that your case number is safe with you. Don't share it with anybody. So the DS260 has a timeout feature. If your DS260 application is idle of approximately 20 minutes, so after 20 minutes, it will log you off and then you can log in. So all data that you entered up to the last time you clicked save will be stored until you are ready to continue completing the form. Any data you entered after clicking save will be lost. So make sure that you are saving that information. And then how do you access it after you have saved it? Maybe you come back later. You can access your saved application by returning to the Consular Electronic Application Center, the same website, and you select view or edit from the IV and alien registration section of the immigrant visa summary information screen. So you will then be provided with the list of applicants in the case, along with the status of each application. So it can be not started, incomplete, or submitted. So to continue updating an incomplete application, simply click on the edit button to the right of the applicant status. So very, very, very important information here, guys. You have to know this. You have to know this before you fill out your DS260, or before someone tells you that they're going to charge you for them to do this for you. This is self-explanatory if you are able to follow. So once you submit your application by clicking the sign and submit application button on the sign and submit page, you will be unable to access your application again without the assistance of NVC for immigrant visas, KCC for diversity visas, or the US Embassy or Consulate on which you plan to supply. Because maybe you submitted it, and that's why you have to have everything. You have to have your passport, you have to have all the information. And I read, if you go in the beginning of the video, what they need. Now, do I bring my DS260 application with me to the interview? This question always comes up. So when you're going for your interview, when your interview has been scheduled, you do not, or you should not bring your application with you to your interview. So you don't need to take that. So the interviewing officer will have full access to review your application online. So you do not need to take that. So I hope it's important to go through the questions. Now we're going to look at the sample DS260 here and see how it looks like, because we need to know how that one looks like here. Let me see if I have shared that part. I need to share that one too. So let me stop that screen, and then I'm going to share again so that I can share with you the DS260 PDF here. So let me go back and see if it's there so that I can give you the right information. You know, sometimes I just talk to myself and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Now, this is DS260 DS260 IB application sample. So this is just a sample. And if you have won your DV lottery, I know that you know there's a link there for you to click on so that you can go to the website and fill it out. So we're just going to go through it. It's a very, very long document, but you just need to know where to fill out your stuff because you must fill out. So this is a sample. So here is your case number. Put your case number there, and then you continue. You click continue. It's not going to be like this. It's going to keep on telling you to continue. So you have to click continue. And then here, this is your case number, and then you're going to say, I am there. Who are you? You are the main applicant. If you want the DV lottery in your name should come here, and then you are going to type the characters here. I'm going to be very, very fast because this is a little bit longer. So of course, they will have you create an account. That is one thing. When you're filling out your DS260, they will have you create an account. Now, that account of yours is going to have you, it's best to use your email address and get a password that you remember, because you always have to sign in to these things, especially when you're going to access them. And then you're going to enter the invoice ID number that the NVC or the National Visa Center sent you. You have that. If you have won your DV lottery, it is on your paper. You will see that. Now, who are you? I am the applicant. If you're the applicant and you're doing, and I'm doing this purposely to help people to be able to fill out the DS260 for themselves. If you go to a lawyer to do it for you, of course you'll be charged for that, and that's what we are trying to avoid. It's gonna be your attorney who is doing it. If it's a petitioner, someone who is petitioning for you. For example, someone is a U.S. citizen, a U.S. permanent resident, and they are applying for a family member. They are called the petitioner. A third-party agent, someone else, like, you know, if someone else is doing for you, you can say a third-party agent. But to avoid all these people, follow with me or go to the website and see, and then you will be able to do it for yourself. And then you enter the characters that they give you, and then you click continue. And then you're going to come here. This is going to be your information. And then you're going to go here. Now, this is getting started. This is just a sample, guys. So I have certified. Of course, you have to read all this information. Most people do not read. I'm not going to read that. And then you're going to click on this one. If you don't click on this one, it's not going to let you continue. I certify that I have read and understood the above, and I am now ready to begin the immigrant visa and alien registration application process. And then you will click continue. It's going to take you to the next page. And now you're going to start filling out your information. Your surname is your, let me use my, let's assume it's me who is filling. My surname is going to be Nganga. See, my given name is going to be Charity. And my name in native alphabet here is going to be Nyokabi. So that's how you fill that. Plus, have you ever used other names? If you have used other names, you are going to say yes or no. If you have used other names as alias, you're going to put them there. So let's assume that your names are different. Maybe your name is in your passport or your name in your certificate is different. If you have a different name, you're going to enter yes, and you enter that name there. It's okay. Even me, I always have to fill out my two names. Because remember, I always told you that my name was wrong and I had to change it. And I also had to change my surname to my husband's name. So I always refer to my old name. That is a norm. So if you had used any other name, please click yes and type your name there. If you don't have any other name, you're going to click no. Are you a male or a female? You're going to enter there. And there you enter the, were you male when you were born, or were you female when you were born? And you know, like things are different and they have changed, and people have maybe people have changed their gender, but you have to fill out your gender at birth. It's very, very, very important for you to do that. Your current marital status. Are you married? Are you single? You're gonna click on this drop down, and it's gonna give you options: married, single, divorced, widower, whatever. You're going to click out there. And remember, it must correspond with your first application, guys. You have to correspond. You're going to fill out your date of birth, where you were born, your city of birth, state, province, and county country of region of birth. Follow what's on your passport to fill out this area. That's going to be very, very easy for you. And then you're going to click save. Remember, it was telling us to click save. If you want to go back, you can go back on this button. Next. It's still personal too. Let's go and see the next thing that we are, whatever. So personal information one, surname, given names, same thing that we did there. And then you're going to click next. And then you're going to have personal information two, the country of region or origin of nationality. So if you are a Kenyan, if you are Ugandan, Tanzanian, whatever you are filling out your thing from, you're going to select your country there. And you're going to select the document type. Remember, I said for the DS-260, you must have your passport. So your passport has to be there. And then the ID for the passport, you have to put it there. So remember, it's going to be a passport and it has to be a valid passport, guys. It has to be. Now, who gave you the passport? You're going to enter that information there. You're going to enter when it was given and when it expires. Remember, your passport must be valid and it must be up to date. It must not be expired, guys. Okay? Now, do you hold or have you held any other nationality other than the one that you have indicated above? So if you, let's assume you were born in Kenya and then you became a nationality of South Africa or wherever, you became a citizen of another country, you either click yes, but if you have never left your country and you have never been a citizen of another country, then you're going to click no. So this one, let me talk about the people who live in the Middle East. If you live in the Middle East, and you went there for work, remember you didn't change your personality. What you did, you went and changed your work. If you don't have a passport or you're not a citizen of that country, please, you're going to select no. So very, very, very important. And then, so this looks like the same thing. If you have another travel document, it's going to give you options here. But most people have passports. So you're going to click out your passport. But if you have a different document, it's going to give you in this drop down is going to give you other stuff. And if you are struggling, read here. It says help. Okay, help, travel documentation. It tells you here. So if you are struggling, read here. You get your answer. Okay, so same question here. If you have a country of another country of origin of nationality, you're going to enter there. So we are still on the personal information for that person. And then we are going to go here. This one looks like the same thing. Now, this document repeats itself so much because it's a sample. So nobody is going to duplicate this one because it just repeats whatever itself. And there's some spaces that are going to tell you have like you feel like you're entering the same information at the same time. But normally when you click on the same page and you enter the right information, you find it. Sometimes he just tells you to verify. Then you're going to click your address. Present and previous address information. This is where you live, guys. Remember, when you filled out your application, your first application, you did put an address there. So put that address here, that PO box or that whatever. Put it here, guys. Here it says whatever, and it says Argentina. So this person is from Argentina, whatever. So put it there, guys. An address you provide there. And let me see. So it says, have you ever lived anywhere other than this address since the age of 16? So if you left to go and live in another country or in another whatever, you are going to say yes or no, depending on your status. And then you're going to enter your primary phone number, if you have one. And if you don't have a secondary phone number or a work phone number, here it says does not apply. So just click on this, does not apply, does not apply. That's okay. And leave it there. And then, so have you had any other telephone numbers during the last 5 years? If you have, then you're going to write. If you don't have, then that's okay. Then you're going to enter your email address. Remember, this email address is the one that you used in your application. So this email address, use one, don't change it. Use the same address. Very, very important, because remember that address that you use, the email address that you used is very, very important. You are going to get information through that email address. So enter it here. And then if you have any other email address you want to add, you can add there. Now, let's look at here is social media. Guys, social media. What are you posting out there? Because they will ask you about social media. Remember, these people, they want to have as much information as they want about you. And that's why I normally say it's very, very important to know what are you posting on social media, guys. What are you posting? You have to post something that you know that even if your child is looking at it, you are not going to be ashamed. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to ask, your kids are not going to ask you questions that you're not able to answer. You know, sometimes I feel sad that people, let me make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll make it 200. Okay, now that's better. So your social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, whatever they are, Snapchat, IG. There's so many. So don't give them. So let me read this one about social media, because this one is I love to laugh about social media, because sometimes I see people posting stuff. I'm like, are you sure you want to post that on your page? So select from the list below each social media platform you have used within the last 5 years. In the space next to the platform's name, enter the username or handle you have used on that platform. Please do not provide your passwords. If you have used more than one platform or more than one username or handle or a single platform, click the add another button to list each one separately. If you have not used any of the listed social media platforms in the last 5 years, select nines. We live in technology, guys. So very, very, very important. Don't lie about your social media. Put it there. And what I normally say is that your social media whatever you post, it doesn't go away. Internet doesn't forget. So you want to be posting things that are nice. Let's assume that you posted something like you don't like America. And then you win a green card, and then you go to the embassy and they had seen that they're not going to give you a visa. You know what I mean? So post something that is good, don't post the stuff that's gonna or maybe you post stuff, there's some people who say that I am not married, I am single, or the DV lottery, and then your social media, you have been posting your family and everything since whatever, maybe like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, you've been posting your family, but in your family says that you're single. Oh, they will get you, guys. So very, very important. That's why I say it when you're filling out the DV lottery from the beginning, just be honest. Tell them, be honest. Honesty is the key, guys. So here is the address again. That page is coming up again. And then this one, we talked about the phone number. I'm not going to I'll talk about that again. We talked about the social media. And if you have other handles, it gives you an option. Other social media provider platform. So make sure that you have been posting nice things. So mailing and permanent address page. Okay. So is your mailing address the same as the permanent present address? Just say yes. And then, now, this one, I need you to pay attention here. Please provide the following information on where you intend to live after arrival to the United States. That's why you must have a host. You must have a good host like me. I am a good host, guys. Oh, let me blow the horn here for myself. So now, who lives in that address? You enter the name of your host, and then you enter the street number. Your host will give you all this. So when they are giving you this information, you have to fill out all this, because all this is there. The US address it has the name of the person, the address. If there's a street, it tells you the street. It tells you the city, the state that person lives in, and the zip code. And of course, if you can enter their phone number or just say it does not apply. It doesn't matter. Now, and then they're going to ask you, is this the address where you want your permanent resident green card mailed? Kindly say yes, guys. Now, if for some reason you have a host and then your host decided to change their mind, because they do. I know hosts change their mind and they decide that they are not going to host you. Please, when you come here, make sure that you are, I think you should be on talking with your that previous host, because the green card is going to be sent to there, and you don't want to be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You don't know whether they're going to send you a green card or not. So if you change your address, guys, or the host refuses to host you, and you have to go to another person who is willing to host you, please make sure that you can contact the KCC, so that you can change your address, so that they can send your green card to where you went. Changing address is very, very important, guys, but most people do not understand, because you don't want your green card to go to the wrong person and then it takes them forever to send it to you. No, you don't want that to happen. So make sure that the host, and I hope this is also for the host, if you say that you're going to host someone, host them to the end. Host that they're not going to live with you forever. you're going to host them for a few months and then they're going to go on their way, because you are not meant to live with them forever. You're just a bridge. So just host them. It doesn't matter. You know, when I hosted Anne, and I want to talk about this, and it was kind of funny. So Anne came to my house. Anne doesn't have a husband, and I got so many, even my DM, like, Anne is going to take your husband or whatever. No, guys, most people are not like that. Not everybody. I know, like, there are some people who are like that, but I know deep down in my heart that if I host someone, like, they are not gonna come and destroy my home, because I know how to take care of my home. See what I mean? So that fear should not be there, because I received so many, even from my friends. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you hosted." I was like, "No, you have to set boundaries. It's your home. That's your guest. Treat them as your guest. You know your family very, very well. But if you know that the other person that you're living with, you cannot trust, and they're gonna go to the other side, then you cannot do that. You know yourself very well. But I do know myself very well, and doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And soon, for me, I feel fulfilled, and I feel very, very good that I was able to host them. I was able to help them out. She was able to go for her course. She was able to get a job. She's doing her second job right now. She got a nice car. I posted that here. I know she's gonna get a nice apartment, a very, 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 very nice apartment, and she's gonna start life with her daughter. So that is, that's something good that I have done. Even if I die today, at least and I go to God, I will tell God that I opened my door to a stranger and I helped them out. I don't need anybody to, like, thank me or whatever. But if you want to host someone, host them. Do not give your address to someone who is in Africa and then you decide that you're not going to host them. Some of them are family members, and they just change their mind, and you're like, what the heck? Like, host someone. It's not going to cost too much. No, it's not going to cost. Actually, you're going to open blessings in your home. So I'm digressing. Okay, let's go. So about the green card, make sure that click there and make sure that you are in good terms. The host, like, you have talked at length with your host, and you know that they're not gonna change your mind. And then here is the same thing. Is your mailing address the same as your present address? You're gonna say yes. So if you say yes, you don't need to fill out this one. But if you say no, you have to fill out here. So very, very, very important. So this is all about the address. Like I told you, this is a sample, and it keeps on repeating itself and repeating itself. Okay. So that's also about the address. So I'm gonna go scroll and scroll and scroll until I reach to, so this is still about the mailing address. And then, so let's see. So family information is gonna ask you about your parents. So you're gonna enter the name of your parents here. So if you had said that if you don't know your parents, maybe you don't know your dad or your mom, you're just going to enter that you don't know them. But if you know them and they're living and you're in good terms, then you're going to enter there. Because at one time you will need to invite your parents, and these documents do not go anywhere. They're still there on their website. So there is no, you're going to enter someone's name here who is not your parent. And then when you come here, you decide that you're going to enter send your real parent, and the information doesn't correspond. It doesn't work like that. So enter your dad's name and their date of birth if you know it. Most of us know, some of us do not know where they were born and all that good stuff. If your dad is still living, you're going to say yes or no. You're going to enter your mother's name and everything, details about your mom. If they're still living, you're going to either enter yes or no. And then this is still about parents, family information about parents. And then you're gonna go here, still about parents. And let's go until we go to the next page. I told you that this page keeps on repeating itself and repeating itself because this is a sample, guys. Now you're gonna enter your spouse information. Now this is your spouse, your current spouse. You're the person you're married to. So you're going to enter their names there, surname, given name, date of birth, place of birth, whatever. What do they do, their address, when were you married? You have to have a marriage certificate, even if you got it after you won the DV lottery. And I told you guys it's okay, even if you get your marriage certificate later, because you know the African way. Before you do the white wedding and you get the marriage certificate, it takes a process. And what I know about here in America is that they embrace different diversities. And if that's what happens, you got married and then you had to wait until you did all the rituals and then you went to do your marriage, it's okay. Just go. You can tell them, this is when we got married, We got married at this time. We've been married for these years, but we got our marriage certificate at this date because we were not able to do it because of 1, 2, 3. And normally they don't ask so many questions because they know. Now, is your spouse immigrating in the US with you? Here they give you an option. So if you're coming together with your wife, you're gonna say yes. If you are not coming together, they will come later. You're gonna enter no, and then the other question is gonna ask you: is your spouse immigrating to the US at a later date to join you? Are they gonna come later? You're gonna say yes, because maybe due to financial constrictions, you are not able to pay for the airfare, which is okay. So they give you that option here. So you do it here. You don't do it when you go for your interview. You do it here on your DS-260. Okay. Now, this is still about, it repeats itself about the spouse page. And then we are going to go down. This is still spouse, the address and everything. And then, so if they have another occupation, let's assume here, I'm going to talk about occupation. Let's assume they have another occupation that is not listed here. You're going to enter here about their occupation, whatever they do. You're going to put it here, and then that's okay. When you got married, all that information we've talked about. And then if you had a previous spouse, maybe you were married and then you divorced, or maybe you were married and then your spouse died, then you're going to say, give information about your previous spouse. If you don't have a previous spouse is the person you're married to, you're going to say no, and then you're going to move on. Remember to save your information. And if you want to go back, you can still go back. See? And then, so that's all about previous spouse. And then we're going to talk about the children. Remember, children are important. Now, do you have any children? Remember when you did your first application, if you said that you had children, you're going to enter yes. And the information about kids is going to come here. But if you said no in the previous one, and then you want the DV lottery, and then you want to say yes and you want to add, then they will think that you are lying. See? They will think that you are lying. So that's why I say from the beginning, you have to know. And it's good to read children information. It's good to know about this information. If you want to know more, they have stuff there. Now, let's go on. Children, date of birth, their names, where they were born, do they live with you? Are they immigrating with you? Yes or no? If you say no, then, and if they will immigrate in another date, then you're going to say no and say that they are going to come later with your spouse. Now, and here it's going to give you an option to add another child if you have other kids, or if you want to remove kids, it's going to give you options. So, and then you're going to save. Okay. So all this is about children. And then we're going to go to the next page. It's got about, it's about previous US travel. Have you ever been to the US? Yes or no? If you have been to the US, you're going to click yes. Or no? Have you ever been issued a US visa? If you have gone to the embassy and you got a visa, you're going to click yes. If you have never gotten a US visa, you're going to click no. And a US visa is not a passport. A US visa is you went to the American embassy and they gave you a visa to travel to the US. That's what they're asking about. So have you ever been refused? Maybe you went to the embassy and they did not give you a visa. So have you ever been refused a US visa, or been refused admission to the United States, or withdrawn your application for admission at the port of entry? That is, you came all the way and then they send you back. They normally do that. I don't know what people do. So if you haven't done all these things, you're going to enter no. Because if you enter yes, it's going to give you more information because you have to explain why. But if you have ever been given or whatever, say yes and explain whatever happened or whatever. Okay, you have to say the truth, guys. Okay, so they're going to ask you when you are given the visa, which kind of visa you are given. Now, like let's assume it was my mom I was filling for. I would say it was a B1 B2 visa, and when she got it and the visa number, I would say that and all that. And then he has more questions. Has any of your US visas ever been lost or stolen? If you had been lost or stolen or whatever, you're going to say yes or no. Has any of your US visas ever been cancelled or revoked? There's some people, let's assume like you came, you involved yourself in crime and your visa was revoked, and maybe you are denied to come at the entry. All these things, you have to know them, guys. They're bad things or good things or whatever, but you have to know what is in that document. So you're going to either say yes or no, depending on where you are, okay? Now, have you ever come in and you are refused admission? You're going to say yes or no. Very, very important. because they want to know everything about you. Now, we are going to come to work. What kind of work are you doing? Primary occupation, what do you do? You're going to select what you do. In which occupation do you intend to work in the US? Maybe you can say healthcare. Maybe you can say plumbing or whatever. Whatever this drop down gives you and you feel like that's what you want to do, then you're going to select that. Because when you come to the US, the sky is the limit, guys. You can do anything that you want as long as it's putting food on your table and it's not a crime. You can do anything, guys. So primary occupation, this one they said agriculture. You're going to give your present employer or whatever you are doing and you're going to give their address and everything. If you have any other occupations, maybe you are doing business, you're going to enter there. Doesn't matter the work that you are doing, you're just going to enter all that there, which is very, very, very important. And remember, the other thing is that you have to have a Form 4 education. That's important. That's a qualifier. So if you have Form 4 education, that's okay, but you still have to say the work that you do. It doesn't matter because it has to be filled out. And remember, I said that it's not going to let you submit if you do not fill out all the boxes. So all the boxes must be filled out in this DS-260, and it's long, guys. It's long. If you're not employed, you're going to explain why you're not employed. They want that information. They want to know you more. If you're a homemaker, you are a housewife, it's okay. Here they have written homemaker. Enter there. It's still a job to take care of your kids. I wish I was a homemaker, just staying home, taking care of my kids and all that. It's still a job. You know, there was a time that the housewives, they were seen like they don't do anything. But if you reverse, and then maybe the person who goes to work is the one who stays home, it's a lot of work that you have to do. You have to clean up, you have to take care of children, you have to do all these cycles. You know, they are called cycles because you wash the dishes and they're dirty, you do the laundry and then it's dirty again. The house is, you know, it's good work. You're a homemaker. That's a good job. Okay. If you have other occupations, you're going to put them there. Okay, now we are still going. This is work, education, training, information. And then we are going to go to, so still the same thing. Let me move here so that we are at the center. So they want you to explain the work that you will be doing. And why this page has got so many pages, because like I told you, it's a sample. It's a sample. Here, if you want to do food services, you can say that. Whatever that you want to do, you're going to talk about that. Okay. Now, let's look at, so what is this one about? Oh, this is about different visas. So let's go. So what's this about? Okay, now we are going to talk about school. Here, if you had gone to any educational institutions, secondary level or above, you see they have said secondary level or above, you're going to say yes. Of course, if you have secondary level, you're going to say yes. Because if you don't have secondary level, they are going to ask you for work experience. They do that. And especially if you don't have work experience that that fits, then that qualifies with their website, then you might be in a problem. But we are going to look at that and see the work that qualify. So that's why I normally say, if you have your secondary school certificate, you're good to go, guys. You're good to go, guys. And then let's see what else he talks about. So that's education. And then it's a long document, guys, but we have to do this. Let me make it a little bit smaller so that I can see. Oh yeah, there. So let's see. So this is all about the work. I want to move from the work and go to something different because we've talked about work. Okay, now let's go back here. So let's assume like you have traveled. So this is employer's name. It's all about work. But here are some questions that I want us to go through. Have you traveled in countries within the last 5 years? You're going to say yes or no. If you have traveled, you're going to tell them. Have you ever served in the military? It doesn't matter which country. You let them know yes or no. It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Say that you served in the military. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to go to the military to serve your country. Okay. And then we're going to go still the same questions about traveling. And then if you are in the military, it's going to have you state the name of the country that you went to the military, the branch that you are in, your rank, your military specialty, when you started and when you ended. So that's important information. If you are in the military, that you should do that. Okay. So in military, and do you belong or contributed to or worked for any professional, social, or charitable organization? If you have volunteered or you have worked in a charitable organization, AMREF, all that, World Health Organization, you're going to enter there, yes or no? Do you have specialized skills in firearms, explosive, nuclear, biological, or chemical experience? If you know that, then you know yourself well. You're going to enter yes or no. Have you ever served? So these ones are they are about your virtues, because they want you to they want to admit people who are good. So some of these, if you have served in them, some of them they are not gonna let you. Like this one. Have you ever served in of being a member or being involved in a paramilitary unit, vigilante unit, rebel group, guerrilla group, or insurgent organization? Now, if you say yes, of course, you're not gonna give you, because they will know that you're a bad person. Okay, now can you speak or read languages other than your native language? Maybe you know English, maybe you know Swahili, you know your mother language, and maybe you know something like French or German or whatever, or Spanish. You can say yes if you know, but if you don't know, then that's okay. And then we're gonna go on. So it's the same questions about languages and everything. We're gonna go down and see. So paramilitary unit speaking the same language is the same thing. I told you this page is gonna repeat itself until we are done. Okay. So I'm just going to, so now this is the last, close to the last pages. This is your petitioner information. That is, if I am filling out for someone, like my family member, I will be the petitioner. So you're gonna click there. But if you're filling for yourself, you don't need to fill out anything, because he says, please provide the following information concerning the individual entity that filed a petition on your behalf. If it's someone else, if it's a lawyer, you're gonna tell them who did it. So let's read here. Displayed for all applicants, answered father to the petitioner is, or maybe if it's mother, the petitioner is a mother, brother, sister, spouse, child. This is all about families, guys. But if you're doing it for yourself, and that's why I'm doing this DS260 for you, then you should be able to fill it out. You should be able to fill it out, guys. Now, your employer can be filing for you, especially if you live here in the US, or maybe you are getting a job here in the US. The employer can decide that they want to file for you, so they're gonna whatever. But if you're doing it for yourself, you're gonna come here and say the petitioner is myself. It's me who is doing it for myself. It's you who is doing it for yourself. So you are gonna fill out there for yourself, and then it's gonna come here to about diseases. Do you have any communicable disease of public health significance, such as TB? Of course, they will test you for TB for your medical. So yes or no? Do you have a document? And of course, if you have a disease, what's going to happen is that if you go for the medical and you have TB, they are going to treat you first before, make sure that you're okay before you come to the US. But they cannot deny your visa based on being sick. No, they can't do that. Okay. Do you have a documentation? There's a place that says that if you read more on the website about these diseases, you find that it will be at your expense to be treated, but as so long as you're well, they will give you your visa. At least they are fair. They don't like tell people that we are not gonna take you to the US because you have a certain disease. No, but if you're found with it, of course you will have to be treated. That's for sure. They will treat you until you take your medication. They make sure that you're good for you to whatever. They will help you out, but of course it will be at your expense. You'll pay for the bills and all that. Okay. Do you have documentation to establish that you have received vaccination in accordance to the US law? So now, and that's why you have to go for your medical, because if you don't have records showing that you are vaccinated, you're going to get all those vaccines. You have to get them. You know, there are some people who say, oh, I can't get a COVID vaccine or whatever. Oh, you have to get it. Like, you have to get it because it protects you. And sometimes I don't understand the logic, because you find that some people, even here and working in healthcare, I've seen so many things. They say, no, I'm not going to be vaccinated or whatever. And then when they got COVID and they were almost on their deathbed, they were like, oh, I wish I got vaccinated. I even told my family not to be vaccinated. Now, a vaccine, I do remember, and this is my African experience. You find that the moment you have a baby, like a small baby, hours, not even hours when they were born, they get the BCG. You know that one that goes over here for TB, that BCG TB, and you don't refuse. You just take them for their vaccinations because it's important. And you find that I do remember a story that was being given about a lady. She had refused to take her kids for vaccines. And then after some time, and I think her kids now are like in their 40s or 50s, there was polio somewhere, and then two of her kids got polio, and because she refused to take them. So a vaccine, there is nothing wrong with the vaccine. For me, there is nothing wrong with the vaccine. So they will ask for documentation for vaccinations, and you will have to be vaccinated if you don't have those vaccinations, because you're coming to a different weather. Now here we have very extreme colds, we have extreme weather. Like right now it's spring, you find that there's a lot of pollen, you get sick or whatever, you have to be vaccinated. You're coming to a different area, you have to be vaccinated about things like measles, all that stuff. So if you're not vaccinated, or you don't have records of vaccination, oh, you will get it, guys. You have to be vaccinated. And I'm talking that at a standpoint of like a healthcare worker, because sometimes you can force people, especially here in the US, if they don't want to be vaccinated, it's their right. But at the end of the day, you find that people go back to their word when they get very sick, and they're like, oh, I wish I knew. So it is what it is, unless you're allergic to it. Okay. Do you have a mental or physical disorder that poses or is likely to pose a threat to the safety or welfare of or yourself or others? So do you have all those? Of course, those ones, they will come, there will be records from maybe your doctor or whatever. So you can say yes or no, that depends on you. Are you or have you ever been a drug abuser or an addict? So if you're on drugs, of course, I know that it's they will have to do a drug whatever test, whatever, to see if you're a drug addict or whatever. So yes or no, you're going to enter there because they want to know. So this is just a repetition of that. And then now we're going to go to security background and criminal information. Have you ever been arrested or convicted for any offense or crime, or through subject of a pardon, amnesty, or other similar action? You're going to answer that. So that's why you have to have a good conduct from your country. And if you don't have a good conduct from your country, they know, like the countries that don't have a good conduct, so they have a way that they conduct their own background information. Okay, have you ever violated or engaged in a conspiracy to violate any law regarding to controlled substances? Controlled substances are those medications whereby most of them they are for pain, others are from different diseases, but they are controlled. So if you have violated the law, you have taken them without maybe the doctor's prescription, you say yes or no. Very, very important. Are you the spouse or a daughter of an individual who has violated any controlled substance trafficking law and have knowingly benefited from the trafficking activities in the past 5 years? You're going to answer yes or no. Are you coming to the United States to engage in prostitution or unlawful commercialized vice, or have you been engaged in prostitution or procuring prostitutes within the past 10 years? You're going to answer that one too. Have you ever been involved or do you seek to engage in money laundering? You're going to answer that one too. Have you ever committed or conspired to commit a human trafficking offense in the United States or outside the United States? You're going to answer that one too. Have you ever knowingly aided, abetted, assisted, or colluded with an individual who has been identified by the President of the United States as a person who plays a significant role in a severe form of trafficking persons? We've had stories of people trafficking other people. That's sad. Okay. Are you the spouse, son, or daughter of an individual who has committed or conspired to commit a human trafficking, or have you within the last 5 years knowingly benefited from the trafficking activities? Yes or no, you're going to answer that. And remember, this is not my information, guys. This information is on this website, travel.state.gov. It is not maybe like, I'm not a lawyer, whatever. I'm just reading information for you to help you guys, because some of you have to pay for this information to go and someone to do it for you. And this is stuff that you can do for yourself. Now, do you seek to engage in espionage, sabotage, export control violation, or any other illegal activity within the United States? You're going to answer that one too. Okay. Do you seek to engage in terrorist activities? You're going to answer that one too. Have you ever or intended to provide financial assistance or other support to terrorist or terrorist organizations? You're going to answer that one too. These are funny. Okay. Are you the spouse, son, or daughter of an individual who has engaged in terrorist activity, including providing financial assistance or other support to terrorists or terrorist organizations in the last 5 years? Yes or no? When you were answering these questions, you were like, oh my gosh. It's like, but you have to answer them. If you have done it, you will answer yes. If you have not done it, you're good. Are you a member of a terrorist organization? You're going to say yes or no. Have you ever ordered, incited, committed, or assisted, or otherwise participated in genocide? You're going to answer yes or no. Now, that's on you. Now, all these questions are about vices. What have you been doing? You know what I mean? So you have to answer all these questions, and I hope that you don't have to answer yes, because if you answer yes, that could bring You know, if you have done it, that could be a problem. Okay. Now, so all these questions, there are many about your background and what you have done, what you have not done. So you're going to answer all that stuff. And then you're going to come all the way. So these are law violations. If you have done immigration law violations, you're going to answer those questions. Have you ever been removed or deported from any country? Not even US. You're going to say yes, and then you're going to explain. You see, they always give you a place here to explain. It's fun. Because you have to tell them, like, why were you know, all that information. You have to tell all that information. So read this very carefully and make sure that you are answering it to the truth. I'm not going to read all of it because I'm going to spend all day here reading it for you guys. But I know that you can read. So there are those questions that you have to answer truthfully. And remember that this DS260, you know, what I say is that if you answer the truth, you don't have to think about the truth that you answer, because the truth is the truth and you don't have to think about the truth. So answer all those questions. Now, then we go to Social Security. Now, have you ever been applied for a Social Security number? So that one, you get it when you come here, and it's a very important document, a very, very, very private document, an important document. So you will answer yes or no. If you have never come to the US and you have never applied for one, you're going to answer no. So very, very, very important information. So do you want the Social Security Administration to issue a Social Security number and a card? They ask you if you want it. So if you're coming here with a DV lottery, answer yes. Because the first thing that you will do when you come to your host is going to take you to the Social Security for you to get a social. Because without a social, you're not going to be hired by anybody. Those are papers. They're called papers. Yeah, they're called, that's one of the papers that you need to have. And of course, you have to have your green card. Remember to apply for your green card. After you get your visa, apply for your green card, guys. Apply it when you are in Kenya, or when you're in Uganda, or when you're in Tanzania. Apply it when you're in whatever you are, apply it there. Please don't come to apply it here, because it will take more time. But if you apply it when you're there and then you come here, by the time you're reaching here, it's going to be very few days and your green card is going to come. So some of these things you have to do them. Okay. And then now you have filled out all your stuff, and then here is going to ask you, did anyone assist you filing out this application? If you did it for yourself because you watched Charity's Bubble and I explained what to do, then you will say no. And then it's going to ask you for your e-signature. You're going to enter your case number here, and then you're going to enter your passport number. You're going to enter those codes there, and then the character here, and then you're going to click the button, and then you will submit your application, and you will be done. You're going to be done. So that one is a long one, 57 minutes. So when you're filling out your DS260, sit down, have everything, have all the information, and fill out your DS260. You can do it, guys. You don't need anybody to do it for you. So you can do your DS260. So guys, I hope this video is going to be helpful to someone. So watch it. It's going to be a long video. Watch it to the entirety, guys, so that by the time you are done and you're starting to fill out your DS260, you'll be good to go. So I wish you all the best in filling out your DS260. Thank you, and God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.